our time has come, we've had some fun.
It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Happy Saturday morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast episode number 111. 3 1s, David.
3 1s.
We
got three number ones sitting right here. So.
Boom, baby. 3 number 1s. My name is Tony B. You heard him, David B. Timmy D is out today. Filling in for Timmy D is our special guest, Rene from NCT Transport. We will catch up with Rene and find out what's going on with him. He'll tell us all about him. He is in the studio. Remember, the views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses any transportation provider. Rene, why do we do it?
For the transportainment.
Boom. Kaboom, baby, right out of Rene's mouth from NCT Transport. That's right. You can catch us on all the platforms. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google, Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. Just put our name in the search engine and you will catch us. All you have to do is do that. David B., happy Saturday morning. It's going to be a hot one here in Indianapolis metro area.
Tony, man, as much as I like you a whole lot, but man, I hate hot weather. And as excited as you get about hot weather, oh man, I hate it. But let's take a look. I'm looking outside at the 19th hole here on the golf course. How good that yard looks. You wouldn't know that it's baking outside. I mean, your yard looks the same all the time.
Thanks, brother.
Again, I mean, I hate to keep harping on this, but that's just what you ought to do as a profession. You do such a good job taking care of the yard. The landscaping looks beautiful. It is a nice day. I mean, Rene, I went and picked up Rene this morning. We had a nice little Jeep drive coming over, so we got some good air, some good air flowing, and had some good conversation heading over this way. And I'm anxious for today's show. Today's show, along with all of our shows, brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to unwind, get a good meal, chat it up with the locals, get some good beverages, hear some good music. Last night, me and one of my buddies went there for dinner, and we stayed the duration of the David Meek set.
Oh, wow.
2-hour piano. God, it was so good. Had prime rib, just a nice meal. Had some good cocktails. Brain's a little fuzzy this morning. I hadn't had a Long Island iced tea in I don't know how long.
Oh.
And I ended the evening with a Long Island iced tea. And when Shawn makes a drink, and he oh man. So anyway.
It was your last one of the night?
Anxious. Yeah. And I was home early for me. So Rene with NCT, it is so good to have you in the studio this morning, sir. How you been, man?
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for having me.
What brings you to the Indianapolis area? Let's talk a little bit about this. We'll catch up with you and how things have been going. What brings you to Indy?
I was dropping off a load. My trailer, my season came to an end for the household good moving. And so I'm picking up my Landstar trailer and getting back on the road, headed to New York.
So household goods moving, is this something new for you, or is this something that you've been doing for a while? Or tell us a little bit about that.
It was new and I loved it. It was awesome. I was a no-touch freight. I was just helping out Wheaton Beacon for the season overflow.
Yeah, nice, man.
And they take care of you? Good people to work for?
Fantastic. Yeah, they definitely were. They take care of their drivers. I was very impressed.
Awesome. So what else has been new with you? How you been? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Just living life on the road and listening to you guys. Just send a lady,
lady trucking.
Yeah, just keeping up with everybody out there. This is what we do,
Awesome. So you're going to be heading to New York, and you already have a load, right, assigned to you that you need to pick up, I'm assuming, here later in the week?
Yep. Picking up New York and taking it over to Houston, Texas.
Awesome.
That's a nice run, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it pays real good.
That's good, man.
Yeah. So with you, let's touch on that just a little bit, Rene. I mean, you're here in we see some videos on YouTube, or we hear some podcasts where a lot of people are saying that the market's soft. Are you and kind of is not paying the well as it should? Are you not seeing that, or are you seeing that? And I know you're just now kind of getting back into getting away from the household move goods. So, but you think this first load is going to pay well?
Yeah, this one's $4.25 a mile. So but this is a direct client, and it's dealing with agents that have been treating me very well. So, but if you're using load boards, I always refer to them as crumbs, because those are the ones that can't get moved, and they're the $2, $2.50, $2.75 a mile loads. But if you can deal with an agent directly, then you're going to get the the $5. Yeah.
From your peers, are you hearing anything about the rates being too low, or
that's been the talk? I haven't looked at a load board in 3 months just because I was doing the household goods, but that's what I've been hearing, and usually I don't look at them until I have to, and so for 3 months it was very nice not to even look at a load board.
I bet.
So,
compete against them, get all the emotions and finance. Yeah, right.
So on my end, I'm still not seeing rates come down as I think they should. Regionally, it's fair, but like going out to California or going down to Florida or whatever, coming out of Florida, it's reasonably priced. But I'd still, on my side, I would still like to see. I mean, if I switch to intermodal, I could easily move probably something going out to California for, I'm going to guess, 28-ish hundred or so. But yeah, I'd like to see rates drop.
Well, I think a rate thing too right now in the market with yellow from the LTL side may see stagnant rates for a while.
I'm seeing stories that say rates will spike.
Yeah, well, I think there's been some of that going on. Discussions and stuff. So, but I think
isn't the market too soft to warrant a spike in the rates, or is that what would warrant a spike in the rates?
I think it always warrants it, especially that size, a top 5, right? Mm-hmm. Top 4 carrier, I think warrants it. It'll be like a mini COVID type thing. I'm seeing backups already, in pockets, right? Mm-hmm. Which ends up swallowing up equipment. Then you have some of these large, something I didn't think about. And for everybody listening, we're talking about the yellow freight may announce bankruptcy on Monday.
Yeah, July 31st.
Friday, there were a lot of people let go yesterday. Mm-hmm. So that's going to create a little spike. So what's happening is a lot of these large retailers are emptying out their trailers and not the rest of the industry's trailers. They're emptying theirs out first because they want to get their stuff off there if they go out. So our equipment's not getting released back quick enough to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's happening. And so it's going to create a little bit of a backlog, especially in metro areas, probably. Metro areas. We're
probably going to bounce around with this topic a little bit today. So in the last, let's see. So LME, like recently, or in with the recent future, like in the last 10 years, LME and NM New England Motor Freight both went under, and both of those carriers kind of delivered out in time. Will Yellow deliver out, or will they just be?
I think that's why they didn't let everybody go, and they still have the union workers there, right? And they're covered through July. So my thing is, and I thought this when they first were going to go out, Rene and David, is it'll be over by Labor Day, the physical part of it, because they'll or maybe sometime in August. They're trying to spin off YRC Logistics, so I guess there's some revenue there. So don't know if that's not going to be enough to help them though. So,
but going back to the condition of the market, would anybody even bother buying that?
I don't think so. Well, maybe, perhaps. They said they have people interested in it. Okay. It's non-union. There's no labor per se union that comes with it that would be tied into a union contract or anything like that. 5-ish
years or so ago, we used Yellow Logistics as our truckload side, and they did a phenomenal job. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, and I didn't expect to get this email yesterday, out of nowhere, the gentleman that I had worked with that entire time, I bet in the last 3-ish years, like during the COVID, like the start of COVID until like now, I bet we haven't had email communication probably maybe less than 5 or 6 times. He reached out, and a very nice email saying, and it was direct to me. It wasn't a form to everybody, saying it was really, it's like, David, it's really been nice to work with you. If you're ever out this way, here's my personal number. And it was nice to see that. And again, and I kind of reciprocated that email back saying, Cassius, you've heard Tim talk about Cassius before. I said, dude, same way. If you're ever out in the Indy area, here's my cell. You please look me up. So, and it's so, being in this industry for so long, and as you and I, as all three of us have been, it's so difficult to hear or see that 30,000 people are going to be losing their job.
It's really tough. And I worked there for 14 years at Roadway. And we were doing pre-show, and I was talking about, it was kind of weird Friday when I came from operations, hearing some of the people in operations post on Facebook that their day was the last day, knowing you were in the trenches with some of those people back in the day, right? 20 below on the dock. And I remember some of those conversations. So that kind of hit me a little bit, but then, I kind of thought about, not to be selfish or anything, but I kind of thought, I'm glad to be out of there. I'm glad I left. I mean, I'm glad that I left when I left. And
so this is a 15-year kind of demise,
right?
Is it fair to say,
demise?
Right. Is demise the right word?
Well, that's great that you bring that up, because if you look at the graph, I looked at their graph of historical revenue, and I left right when it was getting ready to go down even further.
Go down because of the merger, or go down? I mean, were you part of the merger?
Oh yeah. So I stuck around. No, thank you for asking that. Yeah, because that was the emotional part of it. I've always said I'd rather go spend 3 years into Persian Gulf, right, than go back and do that over again. You go back to work there, because it was miserable.
What would be the scenario, or would the scenario be the same had it been the other one buying the other one? I mean, because it seems, and I'm not trying to be, they're fucking going out of anyway.
No, it's a good question.
Using the beat button again today.
It's a good question.
I mean, because anything they touched, they effed up everything they touched.
Well, you had two different. It's a good point, man, and I wanted to talk about that. Let's get into it real quick. We'll get back to Rene. And you jump
Rene,
in.
We're not ignoring you. Please feel free to jump in at any time.
So Roadway would buy companies, and their philosophy was to leave them alone.
Nothing. I thought I saw nothing. Go ahead. Keep going.
UFO?
You're fine. No. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
So Roadway purchased New Penn, left them alone.
Okay.
They purchased Reimer.
Okay.
Left them alone. They purchased all these carriers. The only thing they ever incorporated into self is the stuff that ended up not operating. Then they would consume it into their own, like Roberts Express. If you go back to Roadway's history, Roadway owned Viking, Spartan. They owned RPS, right?
I remember RPS.
Oh my gosh. Yellow and Roadway both were innovators and creators. Yellow was more of a consumer of other transportation companies. Roadway was more of a consumer and enhancer.
RPS now is essentially FedEx ground.
Well, you can, if the people FedEx, well, Spartan became FedEx, Viking became FedEx,
Watkins became FedEx, American Freightways became
FedEx. Yeah. So Roadway sold them, their West Coast was Viking. So their West Coast LTL became Viking FedEx, and then it became FedEx, like you said. But so there was different philosophies. And I remember being in a meeting one time when the CEO was there at Roadway, and he said, someone asked a question. We had bought New Penn, the next day carrier, and everybody thought we'd incorporate them into our system, right? And he said, why would we do that? They actually operate and make more money per size. They didn't make more money than Roadway, but per size, if Roadway's little operation that they operated in, they made more money than Roadway. So his thing was, why would I dissolve that? That's stupid. And Reimer too, right? So, I mean, Yellow just seemed to consume them and destroy them, whatever they purchased.
Reimer was the Canadian part of the,
an incredible carrier and got out of the Yellow thing, actually. But But I mean, Yellow consumed some carriers there, and then had to sell side of the spinoff. But the merger there, to answer your question, I was there when it first started happening, and I've explained it before. You're number one. You won the Super Bowl. Woo! And then the person that didn't win the Super Bowl that you played against, they purchase you.
Yeah, the number two company.
Yeah, and you're like, what the hell is that? It all makes sense to me now. They knew that they were going to have these union problems. That's why Holland sold too.
So you're saying Roadway did the right thing.
Roadway did the right thing. Holland did the right thing by selling and getting out of that, because I think they looked Roadway. I didn't realize this. I looked it up last night. In 98, they signed a 5-year union contract. It was the longest union contract they ever signed. I think that's when they were starting to get out of it. They were
in
like
98.
Yep, we're gonna sell ourselves and get out of this. Yeah, I think that's when they decided that they were gonna do something. And I think Yellow's goal, Bill Zoller's, the worst CEO in the history of transportation,
the worst CEO
of all time. I mean, hands down, whatever this guy touched, it melted to turd.
Did you see somebody interviewed him this week or whatever?
No,
yeah,
I wouldn't watch that. Yeah, it's horrible. The guy was at Eastman Kodak, right? Mm-hmm. What happened to Kodak? They didn't go digital, right? They fought the whole digital revolution, and it's like, okay.
Let me get out my 35, that little knob thing that you had to turn.
Yeah. Could you imagine trying to capture a UFO with that thing?
Geez. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get to that too.
We're going to get to that.
We'll get to that.
But so it's just,
it's a sad day.
It's a sad day that someone so innovative and creative, and people don't get it. They were really, really, really innovative with technology, like these TMS systems that are out today. Mm-hmm. I can remember in the early 2000s, Roadway coming to me with a disc, and they said, "Hey,
a floppy disk."
Yeah, they said, "Hey, give your customer this, and they can load up all their rates from other carriers too. They just got to keep their computer connected."
Right.
And I was like, "Whoa, what?" Everybody's like, "We don't want to do that." And so some people did it. I had a couple customers that did it, and they liked it. Mm-hmm. And it was ahead of its curve. It was basically a TMS system on a CD-ROM
with an AS400.
Pulling information off the AS400,
which is still the best.
Yeah, it's one of the best softwares ever invented.
Yeah, in my opinion.
So, but so it looks like unless there's a miracle, Monday they'll declare bankruptcy.
They're quiet about it.
They're very quiet. I think they're trying to negotiate stuff.
Again, if I was a reporter, I would be outside their Nashville office every damn day.
Yeah.
Come on outside, or have somebody at all wherever.
Right.
Come outside. You need to talk.
Yeah. It's going to be, so the industry's industry-wide seeing some congestion already. So
there'll be a movie about it.
Yeah.
It happened to your shipment. That's what happened. They rerouted that because of it. Wasn't quicker, but it got it out of the.
Well, at least that's an explanation.
Yeah.
So, I get it. But I'm like, what's going on? It's fine. Are you? So, just a little bit briefly, the company you work for is so far affected by this? Or?
Yeah. Yep. Because you have Walmart, Target, and all them that did a lot of business with them. Mm-hmm. Most of YRC's Yellow's. Yeah, I'm saying YRC, but Yellow, which was the YRC, became from YRC to Yellow. Amazon. I mean, you're talking, geez. So all the carriers are filling the holes that they can fill.
Look at how many. Look at the amount of money they spent on dumbass name changes. Where they were this and they changed to that and they rebranded back to this.
That's a good point, because
how much money did you spend on that?
Well, that's a good point, because so one of the reasons I wanted to get out of there when it happened was I had some friends that were higher up at Roadway that when you work in operations, you might have a friend that might become the VP, right? It just happens like that way. And so Ivan was high up. We became a vice president of Roadway before the merger. And you saw key people start to leave right away. And then, so I was in the Indianapolis office, which was the district office for Roadway, Midwest district office, other than Akron. And then where their headquarters was. I remember them saying, "We won't be able to cut fast enough." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" And they said, a couple of them, that if this won't work if we don't slim it down into one like now. And
what year was this?
This was 2006, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
They were like that. Then those people left. They were like, this ain't gonna. They locked them in with a bonus program on stock.
Mm-hmm.
So they, made it lucrative for them to stay. But I remember the smartest people I knew in the building were like, man, we really need to get, because they were thinking long term, like for their survival, and they couldn't see it because we weren't going to do it quick enough. And I think a lot of that came from the direction early on.
In those years, though, and I'm only speculating, I'm assuming that the numbers were about $9 or $10 billion.
It's 9 to 10 billion, yeah.
You mean to tell me at that time that they're like, how can we make $9 or $10 billion a year work?
Yeah, they were trying to.
How sad is that?
Yeah, I think they wanted to go down to 4 or 5 billion back then and couldn't do it. Couldn't do it because of union contracts, because of all that stuff. And then I think the ultimate goal for Zollers, though, because if you go back to that time frame, he was on all the financial channels.
Yep.
And I think their goal was for DHL to buy it. And then when those rumors came out, their stock went to like $66-$70 a share. And then DHL made that fatal announcement. And that's kind of when it all started to unravel.
He's probably somewhere this morning wherever he's at, sipping on a cup of coffee going, sucks to be them.
I know. He's
Seriously.
like, well, I look, you know what his net worth is?
I don't want to know.
Yeah, dude, it's sickening. A guy like that destroy all these companies
and jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, livelihoods is more important.
And then they put him on the post office board, right? It's like
a paid. What the fuck?
There you go. Yeah.
And is that a paid position? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think they get paid. Yeah. I know, dude. Tell me about it. Yeah. So he's worth a lot. And then
post office ain't doing any good.
No,
you're right.
No, but I think that's how they got the 700 million. Is he was in the post office, so he had an ear to Trump's financial people. Kudlow, because he was on Kudlow and Kramer's show every week. Kudlow actually said one time on his show, because I watch stocks all the time. Kudlow actually said, "Hey, Bill, you should be chairman of the Judiciary Committee, or not the Judiciary Committee, chairman of the finance." Yeah. Like the outside part of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the hell are they talking about? This guy's a loser."
Yeah, to use his yellow, whatever.
I don't know, but so Kudlow was into the economy part for Trump, right? And over here, Zollers into the post office, which is a huge revenue portion of the government. And I just think, boom, and then they got the money. So, and they're saying now that they're going to have to pay that back. So the government's going to seize $787 million worth of YRC assets. I mean, the government owns 30% of it.
So property wise.
Yeah. We're going to property, equipment, probably whatever they can liquidate. Yep.
Right.
I mean, may just take an entity of it and roll it into the post office and make it the heavyweight division.
Going back to Renee's comment about there'll be a movie about it. I kind of hope there would be a factual.
There should be a movie about
it. A timeline.
Yeah.
Here's where things started to unravel.
Kind of like that guy who kept saying the economy was going to crash. Remember? And he was like genius figuring it out.
And it's rolling.
Yeah. Huh?
It's rolling.
What do you mean?
In the economy, right?
Oh, no, I was talking about the guy back in 2004 who was saying, I didn't set that up.
No.
He was talking about, they made a movie about it.
Oh,
that was a great movie.
What was the name of that movie again?
The Big Short.
Okay.
Is that it? The Big Short?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, the guy that played Batman's in it, Christian
Bale.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Anyways, he was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just a genius watching all these moves being made on Wall Street. And he's like, the economy's going to crash.
Leading into 2008, right?
Right, 2008.
Okay,
Yep.
I got you. Then that
The Big Short.
Sense.
I think that's the type you need to see with this, because I know when at YRC, we were still Roadway Corp at the time. The Roadway people, once Holland was purchased, were very concerned. Like they were pretty much gone after that, because I think they saw things that we couldn't see. Like it's just not going to work. So
I hope we're not born yet. Rene.
Yeah. But so they purchased Holland for $1.5 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's YRC's debt? Yellow's debt?
1.5.
1.5 billion. So I think the roadway people were right. Like, oh, this ain't never gonna work.
So
When you're making 2 cents, 3 cents on the dollar, you know what I mean? And now you just loaded up your union debt like big time, man. You just it's wow.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
so I'm going to stay on that topic just a little bit longer. And the question, and there, we don't have to answer this. But do you think that the people that we know that worked there, they'll be okay, right?
Yeah, like the guy I worked with earlier, I told you, he's good. He'll find something. I think the so-called driver shortage in the LTL industry just got solved. So I don't want to hear about that anymore. There shouldn't be any driver shortages. And hopefully those people, I think that they've got a lot of good people, man, and a lot of good drivers. I mean, people that have been in the company 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. Those are your best, can be your best employees. That's kind of your knowledge base, right? That's your get up in the morning and grind it out type people. So I think they'll be all right. I really do.
As the rest of this year wears on, I'd like to maybe have a
few of them on.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Find a way to kind of bring some of those people in, especially the drivers. Buffy being.
Well, hey, come on. I mean, he's going to find a job. I mean, I hope they do, and I think some of them be kept around on contract to clean it out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. I mean, it's just shocking. They went from 48,000 shipments to like 10,000. I mean,
I'm shocked that 10,000 that they got 10,000.
Yeah. It's just people I think are asleep at the wheel, man. Or it's just
you're exactly right with that comment.
Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know. But Rene, we're boring you to death, man. We're happier in the studio. So
the
pre-show.
The reason. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, let's just say pre-show. We were talking, Rene. I didn't really roll through the topics there, so obviously we're going to catch up with Rene more and then get into the UFO side. It's enough of yellow. We all know what's going on. But
what about that new merger, the new buyout? I haven't heard you guys mention that with Swift.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's huge, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Night Swift and US Express.
Yeah, they're 23,000 strong now. Swift is with 93,000 trailers.
Wow.
And then there's the LTL side of that where they have AAA Cooper. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, nice.
I don't hear nothing out of them. Nothing out of AAA.
It's like they've kind of fizzed down a little bit. I've never ran into a AAA rep.
Not since Lisa's been
right.
On.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how people get business or stay in business if you don't go out to try to get business. It's just
communication, right?
Mm-hmm. Solicit communication.
So Rene, pre-show, Rene sent Dave a video.
Yeah, I sent that
to me
in an email. Though I sent you the full length in your up to date modern email address that you have.
Yep.
The text was a short.
My AOL.com updated. It forwards it to the Comcast.
So everybody knows pre-show. Tony has the old school dial-up where it goes.
Didn't. You know, I was at Meijer the other day. Ann went to buy a battery at the little electronic place inside Walmart.
Yep. Radio Shack.
No, Radio Shack. Hey, Radio Shack was the bomb.
Rene
dude.
from 3.
Radio Shack was the bomb. Do you remember back in the day? That's where you had to go to get stuff. You couldn't go anywhere.
I forget the rapper, but there was an actual rapper actor that was keeping Radio Shack going just because of all the mixing turntables and stuff. But
nice.
The guy who invented it had my job in the military, and I always wondered why they called it the Radio Shack, because where I worked at in the military was always called the Radio Shack. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but AutoZone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it used to be called Auto Shack.
Oh,
and they made Radio Shack made them change their name because it was so
propriety.
Yeah. And so it went from Auto Shack to AutoZone. And I was in middle school when that happened, elementary school, but yeah.
So the Meijer thing or the Walmart thing, real quick.
Oh, so it was that Meijer or Walmart?
It was Meijer actually.
So first off,
then we went to Walmart.
I don't mean to interrupt your story. I have to give you 10 million times of credit because one of my biggest pet peeves is when people plural those stores where they say we're going to Meijer's.
You're
not going to Meijer's. You're going to Meijer.
I know.
So anyway,
I grew up in Illinois.
No, you did not.
So I learned quick that the S's didn't really matter much. But so we're in there. We did go to Walmart. We were at Meijer when this happened because they didn't have our battery thing.
Walmart.
Right.
Yeah. Meijer didn't. So they had the red phone right there. And I was like, man, should I? I'm picking it up.
Tony.
And I picked it up and it was like old days, dude. You had that phone and the cord. And then someone got on the phone. You need some help down there in the electronics section?
And they knew right where you were.
Yeah. And I go,
put the phone down.
And no, I just wanted to grab this phone and talk into it.
Is Ann like, put the phone down?
Yeah, she's like, you're weird, dude. You're weird. If it was a black phone, would you? It was red. If it was a black phone, would you have touched it? Yeah, I would have. Yellow, blue, red. It was pretty cool. It was a little red phone. Yeah. But yeah, good stuff, man. So Rene was telling us, we were a couple shows back. We said, if you've seen a UFO, let us know. Rene has one on his dash cam.
So before we jump into this, if I may, one of the things that we've talked about on the podcast since we've been kind of talking about UFOs every now and again is how crap a video or a picture or whatever that somebody has of an alleged UFO, or maybe not to use the word alleged, but anyway, there's no better video than Rene's. I mean, Rene needs to put that out there.
Yeah, he needs to put it on your website. You need to put it on your channel, man. And
so Spirit in the Sky is playing when Rene is driving in New Mexico. And this isn't a dubbed in.
The original Spirit.
This is the original Spirit in the Sky starts playing and the video starts, and up to the upper left-hand side of the screen, just here it comes, just a little kind of hovering down. Even it's kind of going to the music. It's almost hypnotic. It's hypnotic in a way, and I'm just like, it kind of just goes through. Can you bring that up on your fancy little modern, or do you have the ability to do that with your email address? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I probably can. But I was just going to say something real quick.
All right, no, go ahead.
The guy who wrote the song "Spirit in the Sky."
Green.
Oh my God, you know that it is Greenbaum.
Is it?
Yes.
Edmund.
Close. It ends with a man.
Edmund.
No.
Greenbaum.
Close.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Norman.
Son of a bitch.
He was a goat farmer.
All right.
He was a goat farmer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the only song I ever wrote.
Spirit in the Sky.
Yeah, it's like,
I know some goat jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit in the Sky. So yeah, I can pull up this. The proprietary music.
But when we talked about, but can you can mute it? Yeah, I mean, you can still. We can narrate it. You can mute the music or whatever. You can mute the volume. You can.
I can do that. But
can't you just turn we'll narrate? I mean, we've already technically narrated it anyway. So, Rene, tell us, you were in New Mexico, right, for this video when you were shooting it?
Highway 380.
What was going through your mind?
I'm just trekking down the road and got some good tunes going on satellite radio. And I see this white light and I thought it was watching me, and when I realized what was going on, I hit the record button on my dash cam and it did a 9-minute video.
Where was this at?
Tatum, New Mexico, Highway 380. It was 1:45 a.m. And this was on September 5th, 2019.
Wow, man.
And but yeah, the song that, ironic that was playing, and I that was the first time I downloaded anything off my dash cam. So I didn't know it picked up the music. And if I would have said something, I would have verbally that way confirm it was me. And but yeah, I didn't even know it was going to do all that, but I downloaded it and shared it and to friends and whatnot. But yes,
that's not a normal airplane. There's no way that's.
It looks like a fluorescent.
It's lit up
like a tic tac. That's just kind of.
It's a very bright light.
Yeah, and the way it was hovering and then it was moving quickly and then it went out of frame.
It's hypnotic though. Seriously, I mean, not sure what it was.
Yeah, for the next, the next 30-40 minutes, I was just like, all hyper and pumped up and holy, did I just,
did you call MOFON?
No.
Tony, what is MOFON?
MOFON
for those of you nerds listening that are like me and don't know what Tony's talking about, or for those of you nerds that are listening and do know what Tony's
MOFON is the Mutual UFO Network. and they investigate UFO cases. So there's a great website on YouTube called there's a great channel on YouTube called Eyes on Cinema. Well, that one.
Sorry, go ahead.
But if you don't go there, you can go to the Eyes on Cinema, and they have his. Have you ever seen this one? Oh, you'd love it, Rene. Eyes on Cinema does every UFO thing ever recorded in history is in their YouTube channel with interviews of the people. So you can go back to like the 40s and 50s and watch these interviews with people that like,
wow,
there's Bob and Mary on a farm or wherever telling, hey, there's a UFO
and green men.
Yeah. But yeah. So there's not a lot of little green men, but when you say little green men, I think of the where was that little green man at? Was that whose buddy was he? Remember the little green man cartoon?
Cartoons? Yeah.
What was that?
Gosh darn it.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I love that cartoon. I couldn't wait for that little green man to come out.
God, what was that? He talked like really like kind of robotic in a way, right? Or am I thinking this?
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Oh, yeah, here he is right here. I don't know what the heck the show is on. The little green man is an man. Oh, gosh.
And on Bugs Bunny, what was the Martian?
That's what I'm thinking
He
of.
would twist in the dynamite
Yeah.
thing at the end of the whatever. They call it the Q-35 explosive space modulator or whatever. Whatever the heck that was called. It shows you. I can't remember what happened in the war 1812, but I can happy to tell you what happened with Bugs Bunny and SpongeBob and whatever.
Yeah.
After
Here he is.
2,000 years of work,
he's going to blow it up right now. I mean, these guys were creative. Were they not? Were they not creative?
Yeah. I mean, and wasn't it really where you just took a stick of dynamite and twisted it into the end of whatever, and then it's going to blow up Earth or whatever.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
And they all walk that way too.
Yeah.
But so Rene, did you see the Senate hearing this week?
No.
Oh, there's some good stuff, man.
Okay.
I'm going to play this one here.
So again, I'm still baffled on why this is all top secret.
It's so
I just don't understand.
So here, let me be straight where I'm from on it.
Yes, please.
I think some things have happened. I don't think if there's aliens or hostile or whatever, if they are, because they would have already, the superior technology, they would have trapped us already.
Yeah, because if they were hostile and if they're already smart enough to get here, they're already smarter than we are.
We look like cave people to them. Right?
Again, this should be a flyby planet. Like,
they're
not stopping there.
Whoa. Well, they still use the bathroom that way.
Yeah,
right. It's like
they put their hand where to take care of it?
Yeah. So there's just like incredible stuff. Like the one lady, the one senator from, I believe, Texas or maybe Florida, like point blanks asked this guy, David Grouch, who's the whistleblower, who's never really physically seen anything himself.
The whistleblower from where?
He's a whistleblower from the Intel department.
Okay.
So he's testifying in front of Congress and he's telling them some weird stuff. And so they said, they've crashed. I mean, this is in front of a Senate hearing. So then she asked, did Marcia Main, is that her name? Did we ever retrieve bodies? And he says, yes. And she says, biological bodies? And he says, yes, non-human bodies. And it's just like you could hear a needle drop in the. So I think what I don't know where this is going to go. My whole thing is me being in the military. I've told you stories. We have a lot of advanced stuff that we don't know about, and my whole thing is probably 90% of this UFO stuff is probably us doing stuff, and because when you look back, it's the leaps. When I first got in the military, stealth was already 20 years old, but nobody had seen it yet because we were already flying the SR-71 Blackbird, which was stealth spy plane, right? Fastest plane ever built in history. We were flying that in the 60s, right? And that was stealth. They couldn't pick it up on radar. So then the 80s and 90s come, right? And then you have the Persian Gulf War. And then we first show our stealth technology. Well, that's like, we already had that. We've had that stuff. So
was that ever a point of topic when you were in the military? Did you guys ever discuss things like that or see things.
Didn't know about it, man. Because what happens is I had a high security clearance, but when you get to higher than mine, it gets compartmentalized.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all need to know. If so, like for instance,
aluminum foil.
some of the stuff I did was with equipment that was under tarps, and all I had to do was do things inside, and I didn't know what the hell it was, right? So because I don't even need to know. I don't know what it was. It's something that flew. I didn't know what it was. So I just did my job. But then those guys are in that compartment. They know what it is, right? And so the people managing it. So it just gets siloed after that. Like the president's the only one that's supposed to have complete clearance for everything. But a lot of it gets zoned off. It's easier to say that word. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I still I just still don't understand the secrecy behind it.
I think it's the military. I think the military's zoned it off.
So
And so the senators don't know, Congress people don't know. Only military people and key people that are in that zone to know.
Because that's where it's come from.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. And so that's why I think these senators are going to military bases looking for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And these generals are like, you're not coming in.
I know we've talked about this. Why is Area 51 marked sectioned off where those just shoot you if you get anywhere near it?
Yeah, very highly secured. My understanding is that it's always been a top secret military base. We built the stealth bombers there. The stealth fighters came from Area 51. SR-72 was built in Area 51. It's our highest, most sophisticated, advanced stuff. There might be other areas now. There's underground stuff at Area 51. Yeah, people go out there and they videotape and see some weird craft flying around. I mean, if you're going to do it, that's where you got to have a base like that, right? And you think about all the power being used in the middle of nowhere. How do they power that place? I mean,
Solar.
I don't know, man.
Well,
It's just crazy.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they do.
Yeah, I kind of meant it seriously, even though I was jokingly
Well,
saying it.
and a lot of that stuff that's flying out there, you don't know if that's actual UFOs or man-made,
Right.
unidentified flying objects.
There's so many stupid stories like Eisenhower flew to that base and met with a UFO. I mean, there's so many stories out there like
that Tic Tac story from a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. You know, the people that were flying to it or when it flew to that, why didn't they shoot it down? Somebody must have been telling them, no.
They did not. They were in. That's a good question. They didn't have weaponry. They were not what they were doing a training mission with dummy weapons, so they couldn't have done it. But that's a good question.
And again, that there was.
That's the one you guys were talking about where they had no video footage. It was just
yeah.
Tic Tac.
Yeah. And they didn't have no video
Out of the water.
It went back into the water. Yeah, it came out of the water. So I have a drone, right? Yeah. So when I fly my drone, it's a nice drone. When I fly it like out, you can see it barely. And then, you know, what I'm saying is when I move it, like the thing will fly like 3-4 miles out. It could be, so you can barely see it. And then when it moves, it looks like it's going 1,000 miles an hour, right? Because of our space looking at it. Right. If it was close, I mean, it goes 47 miles an hour. But when you're that far away, it looks like it's like it just covered like a big, you know, and you're like, so my thing is if I got that and can do weird stuff, right? Which I don't do weird stuff. What I mean is,
oh yeah, you do.
You can make it look.
Never mind.
You can do.
Different story, different day.
You could bring it down, blinking lights at night, right, and then zoom it back up. Someone went, "What the heck's that?" Well, if you had a bigger one,
hello,
right?
Yeah, boom.
Imagine one like that, the size of a Volkswagen Bug, right? They got them. We got them. I'm telling you, we got them. So imagine that flying around. Now that thing's probably going to go 300-400 mile an hour, right? So it would just be like, you'd be like, what the hell?
Where is with your drone, where can't you go?
So there's apps that you have to. So first of all, for mine,
you you can't be near airports and things like that.
Yeah, you have to register it.
Mhm.
So I'm registered with the FAA.
Could you take it downtown?
No. The city of Indianapolis has a very strict. You can get with the city and they'll let you do it. You can go outside, but they don't really want you flying it. And I don't blame them. You have to get permission to do it. You will be flying with no GPS. So what some people don't know about these drones is they all have GPS in them. So remember when we were kids and you had to jostle them around to get them to sit straight? These lock in on GPS and they don't move until you move it.
You couldn't run it down New York Street, or you couldn't run it down.
I tried to do it during COVID because I thought it was interesting to see Saturday night. I went down there on a Saturday night. I was like, man, I can't believe that the world's just dead, man. Nobody's going out, right? So they got us held hostage, as in prisons. You're
during COVID.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I was like, man, I'm just going to drive down to Indianapolis, and so I drove downtown and I launched it, and then all of a sudden I got these errors, beep 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 beep. And it said flying at own risk. GPS is turned off. And I was like, why is that? So I turned it off, flooded back up. And as soon as I did that, an Indianapolis police officer cruised by and then kind of pulled in where I was. It didn't say anything. And then I just couldn't get it. It was unstable. It just wouldn't.
Just like
they've jammed the codes. Yeah. Thanks, David. They just jammed the codes and you can't fly. They got it zoned like that. But what Rene said is mainly airports. When you go up, you have to have this app, and this app kind of tells you where you can go and where you can't go. And if you do, they'll know because my drone has an RFID signal in it.
Okay,
so they'll know. And you can't go up more than 400 feet in the air, right? So you can, but you get caught, man. There's a couple people you don't want to mess with in American government. CIA, the IRS, and the FAA. Yeah, you do not want to. Those are three people that can just come in and pretty much put you in jail. So I don't mess with it. But they send out tickets, and their tickets are not cheap. You're talking $300, $400, $500 tickets.
So their tickets are that, so you don't do it again.
Hell yeah. And you know what? A lot of people don't register them and they try to fly them and then they figure it out. I mean, why? I mean, if you're not doing anything illegal, like I'll take Piper to the park and I'll put it in follow me and I'll walk.
You mean the park that's just right over here?
Park across the neighborhood. And I'll walk Piper and I'll let the drone follow us. He's just goofing around. Piper watches it. It's hilarious. She like if there's a helicopter flying low, you'll see her go like this. I wonder if she's thinking is that his drone?
Right.
But she'll sit and watch it land and watch it take off. Doesn't mess with us. We'll chase it. If I send it around the yard, she'll go run around, chase it around the yard.
Another one to add to that agency is Fish and Game.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. They've got more arresting authority than anybody in the States, right? Yeah.
Up in Alaska, they do CSI testing. I mean, there's been guys that have flown and shot a moose, and the last thing you're supposed to pack out is the horns, the antlers, and if they pack them out, they're just out for the trophy. You're supposed to pack out the meat first. Anyhow, some of these guys that will hunt after dawn, and they go and question them and they lie about it, or oh, that wasn't me, I didn't kill that. Well, I've heard some of the Fish and Game taking DNA of the blood, and then they monitor this guy, and for a year or so later, he's out camping with his family, and they're making steaks, and he throws the vacuum pack bag away, and they take that and they DNA the blood, and then they go back and seize his 4-wheeler, the rifle, everything that was used to kill that moose. After the guy had, no, it wasn't me. Well, DNA matched.
That's amazing.
And they go after him.
They probably admit eventually, oh yeah, it was me.
Rene, when was the last time you were in Alaska?
Last year this time.
Okay. You still have family there, or?
No. I have no family. Well, Alaska family. All my family's kind of passed away. Texas, San Antonio. I just have my sister left. But no, it's all my Alaskan.
So you're doing good, man. Let's get back to you. So you're doing good at NCT.
I'm surviving. I'm surviving the rates, and my truck's paid off. So that's my saving grace, and the fact that I'm a mechanic. I do my own general maintenance on my truck.
I remember you know how to do all that. Yeah, it's important.
So that's the hardest thing. I mean, a lot of guys that are getting in the industry, they watch YouTube channels and I'm going to do this, and the biggest thing is knowing how to diagnose your truck and listen and hear. And the things that I always preach is saving in fuel. Your three major expenses are going to be your truck payment, your truck insurance, and fuel. And if you can save somewhere, and you can even save on your insurance, because a lot of guys, DOT's, they're ganging up on me, or they're attack when they pull them over and they're doing inspections on them. And it's like, dude, let them, because of the better score you get with with safer, they reduce your insurance rates, and mine went down $1,000, and
wow.
And if you're able to pay that up front, they deduct $3,000 off my insurance. So I went from $12,000 or 13 to 12, and then I paid it up front. Cost me $9,000 for the year,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, let them do those level 1, 2, 3 inspections, but you can save them. I save, and I post all the time, $100-$200 I'm saving on fuel.
Wow.
Because I do my pre-routes before I take off and figure out where I'm going to stop and get fuel. I mean, I can go 1,200 miles. So I'll figure out where in my route is going to be the best fuel price. And when I buy fuel, I put my fuel mileage, and everybody asks, why do you do that? I always, that's how if you got an injector or something going out, because you're always doing your miles per gallon,
Yeah. So David, real quick, you got together with Rene
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that's where I was going with this. I had Rene was... First off, Rene was overly kind enough to invite me into his home, which I call his semi, and give me a complete tour. It was my first time ever to be in a semi truck, and it was an awesome experience. He does a great job with keeping everything clean, and he's got his cameras everywhere, and his pull down shades, and he's got all the tools, and how he can hook up an airline to my verbiage is going to be wrong, his little air tank that's right there, and air up the tires and do whatever work that needs
glad
to be
hand
done.
or glade
and
hand.
I told him when we got done, he did such a great job at giving me the tour and showing me everything, and it was and Rene, I think you should go somewhere and do a video and teach the younger people on what to expect. When you're talking about your insurance, talk to us a little bit more about the insurance that and correct me if I'm wrong, that your insurance is out of Alaska, because if it was out of Texas, it would need to be this, or is it out of Texas because if it was in Alaska, it would have to be something like that. So you're saving a lot of money. Can you shed light on that a little bit?
Yeah. The Texas policy was going to cost me $24,000 a year. So double. So my business is out of Alaska,
Okay.
and so I had to grease the wheels in Texas and write a letter to the Secretary of State to run my business out of Texas, because I needed the authority to run all 48 states. So Alaska is not part of the IFTA system, and because we don't have neighboring states. So I have my Texas apportion plate, so I run everything out of Texas, but with my Alaska business, so I didn't have to forfeit my driver's license, insurance, and all those things. And so running out of Alaska, my insurance was $12,000 a year opposed to the $24,000, just because of the less accident rates up in Alaska. Even though I'm all over the lower 48 in Canada, they base it off my domicile, which is Alaska. So it's
working the system. I like it.
Yeah, even though it cost me $1,600 for the Secretary of State to get the permission, it was still saving me thousands to keep my business up in Alaska versus Texas.
But Rene should capitalize on his information, his knowledge, and how to do it, and have some instructional videos and teach the people that maybe younger or whatever, or don't have the knowledge. You would do such a great job, Rene. I just want to compliment you on
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you do. Awesome guy. Awesome dude, man.
So how long have you been driving?
I'm third generation. So 8 years. I've been over 2 million miles, all 48 states, all of Canada.
2 million miles, man.
Over, yeah. I've driven Antarctica, New Zealand, Peru, Australia.
Been in New Zealand?
England. Yeah, I worked in Antarctica.
Where was your favorite place that you ever worked or drove and worked?
Anywhere in Canada.
Okay.
Why is that?
Yeah, why?
People are nice. Roads are great. Better than what we have in the lower 48.
Mm-hmm.
But the people in Canada, they actually respect the truckers. more so here.
I bet.
Here they cut you off, flip you off. The only time they were ever nice to us is during COVID when we were getting products.
Well, that's a good point. When we were kids, I always remember, like if a trucker wanted to get over,
the universal horn.
Yeah, we let them over. Like my parents would flash, if it's night, flash the high little beams, let them over. It just seems like that's not the case anymore. People don't care like that. That's sad.
No, they cut you off. They're in a bigger hurry than you, and even though you're in traffic, nobody wants to be behind an 18-wheeler.
Here comes the old man. Here comes the crotchety old man's talk. It's because everybody just gives a crap about themselves. You know, they don't care that, you know, this 18-wheeler takes a lot longer to get going and a lot longer to stop than what it does you in your car. It just aggravates.
I laugh. I mean, I got the AC, I got the music going, and they do that. I just, you know, I laugh at them. They'll roll down the window and give you the one finger salute.
You should have a LCD screen on your windshield or the driver's side window that you could just like show a smiley face to them as they walk by, or frown face, or maybe a little bit of that, you know, or this.
Yeah. There you go.
You know,
can you hear this?
Yeah.
I'll turn it up. Yeah.
I mean, it would be kind of funny.
You are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. And another thing about Rene does an excellent job of we as a whole, as a podcast, don't do a very good job of promoting ourselves, but Rene does an excellent job of promoting our show and kind of steering us in the right direction if we may not be as knowledgeable with some things that we should be. And it's much appreciated, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So we greatly appreciate you.
You think yellow affects you at all? Going out, big LTL carrier?
No, there's enough of you, the rest of the guys that are going to take up that slack. Yeah, no, not for me.
I just wondered if probably not. I would imagine not.
Yeah, most of you guys are local, short distance. I mean, I'm cross country.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Your next stop is, where'd you say, Texas?
Houston, New York, and then Houston.
New York to Houston.
Yeah.
Where do you know yet where you'll go from there?
No, I haven't looked that far ahead. I got family and friends here and there, and so when I get to a place, you know, I'll look for a load once I get there, and if things don't look good, I'll take time off, and just like I was here, and Dave saw me and made a comment.
That's
I'm like,
awesome,
hey, I'm
David,
still here.
You did that. Yeah.
I'm still here. Hey,
it looks like
how'd you find out?
In Indy? I just Instagram. I'm the one that does the Instagram thing, and so it looked like, I'm like, I think he's in Indy, and I'm like, hey, sorry we missed you. And he goes, oh yeah, I forgot you guys were in Indy. He goes, I'm still here. I go, let's do lunch.
Perfect.
So we did Hooters, awesome. Which was
it's so hard to keep up where everybody's at, you know. And everybody, hey, when I see, let's have have drinks, have coffee, and so that I post as I go. So those that are watching will see me, and then they're like, hey, and I'll be there in a few days, and let's get together.
Yeah,
right. So when he had reached out, I'm like, hey, I'm still here. I forgot you guys are. And then it was just down the road. So it's like, I'll come pick you up. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you so you can see the inside of the truck.
Man,
if you're interested, I'll show you the inside of Zeus.
For sure. Yeah.
So really that's what I named my truck, Zeus. So yeah. But so he got the tour.
What kind of tractor do you have?
It's a 2018 Peterbilt 389.
Wow.
600 horse, 18 speed.
358,000 miles.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, close to that.
Mm-hmm.
290-inch wheelbase.
That's just broken in for a big rig, right?
Just barely. Yeah, just getting it. Yeah, just barely. Yeah.
That's amazing that like diesel engines last that long. It's like, why aren't cars like that? I mean,
doesn't it have to do with the RPM? Is that right?
I'm not sure what all it is.
Everything is maintenance. You hear Toyotas with 200,000-300,000. Any car can get that kind of mileage if you just service it. Do your maintenance on it.
I shouldn't say this, but my 2006 GMC Sierra has 215.
I'm not a Ford guy. I'm not a Dodge guy, but even they can anything can last if you just stay on top of it.
It just seems like when I was overseas in the military and I was we had a break and I was in Abu Dhabi, or maybe it might have been Dubai. We took a taxi and the guy was running out of gas and he went to his trunk and pulled out. It wasn't gas, man. It was like oil, like It looked like it had been processed.
Hadn't been refined yet?
It looked like it was refined. It looked like it was, but he just poured it right in the gas tank. And it was diesel. I'm just like, and then the military can do that in Jeeps and their military equipment.
Yeah.
They can pour cooking oil.
Can I do that in my Jeep?
You can try it.
No.
You can try. I'd like to be there when you try it. Start it up, Dave. It ain't working. Damn it. Should we light it up?
Right.
Light it up.
Right.
Now it's a boat anchor.
But yeah. But anyways, man, that's awesome that you did that, David. Saw he was here and kaboom. It's nice to get a Hall of Famer. I was going to tell you this. Freight Waves has a section I think they stole from us. They're calling it the Hall. HAUL.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, I think they kind of jumped in on us there.
Do you know that they posted? I don't know if it was Freight Waves or somebody posted the top 35 freight podcast in the nation, and oddly, we were not on that list.
Doesn't surprise me. You're just stealing material.
So weird.
You will be now. NCT made a presence.
There we go.
Yeah.
NCT jumping sky high.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, so back to the UFO thing. Where do you stand on it overall, Rene?
Before I forget, let me change lanes on you. Just send the lady told me to say hello to you guys.
Hey,
give you her love.
Excellent.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Shout out.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
you told her you're in the studio.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I tagged and told her I was coming in, and she talked about how awesome you guys were.
Oh,
she didn't say turn around and run away as fast as you freaking can.
So I'm going to give an analogy with both Jacinda and Rene. When I bumped into both of these people in person, it felt like I have known them 5 years, and we just picked up a conversation that we'd already known each other forever.
Right.
It's just that both of you to do that is so awesome. So awesome.
Good people, man. Trucking's got good people in it.
I remember when I first met her, when we were talking.
You met her out on the road?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. When I met her and we talked about getting together at the truck stop, I said, "Hey, when we do, I'm not dancing no jig. Because she's always she's getting
active.
People involved. I said I'm not dancing. I'm not anyhow. So she laughed and as we were hanging out and we had lunch and all that, and when we were leaving and our trucks were parked near each other, she actually got on the hood of my truck.
No
and
way.
I took pictures of her and everything.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's nuts.
She's high energy, man.
High definitely high energy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had an eighth of that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, she's great at self-promotion and she's does a great job on her
trucking fam.
She's also great on pushing us too. She does a really good job of
she's a good person, man. It's nice to see a woman too.
Yeah.
In trucking like that's doing well.
Oh, I respect the hell out of her or any of the ladies that do. And if they, the ones that do reach out, I help them as much as I can, just because a lot of the guys don't give them a fair shake. They're the old school.
Back in the day when I was at General Foam, I used to work for a corporation called General Foam Plastics, and Central would come, the local Central LTL driver would show up, and she, kind of the guys on the dock would be like, "Yeah, good luck with getting her to back in and right." And she every single time she would nail it first try, just bam. I'm like, that Swift driver took it a half hour to get back in, and she nailed it first damn time. So anyway,
Swift. Sure wish I finished training.
There we go.
So where do you stand on it overall? The UFO thing.
Oh, I totally believe in it. It exists. I mean,
so Rene, when you say you believe in it, do you believe in it that it's from somewhere in the universe or somewhere like that we've man-made, whatever that?
Both.
Okay.
Oh,
both,
definitely both. Yeah.
Yep.
Our solar system.
We'd be stupid not to.
Well,
sure.
Hey, deGrasse, which is
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
There. Okay, if there are more stars in the solar system than there are granules of sand.
Right.
That stat right there
Mind-blowing.
blows my mind.
Yeah, every beach, every ocean floor. Just to think it. I mean, that's like really.
Yeah.
So that's how. Yeah.
Just even a little sand. You think of it as a little sandbox as a kid. How much sand is in that sandbox?
Yeah. Or in a dump truck.
Had to count all of them.
Yeah.
There's more. the fact that there's more stars than granules of sand, that's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking this, so I would consider our country a high energy country, always looking to outdo the others, right? Technologically. So I was thinking this the other night, maybe like our part of this UFO thing. Okay. So if you wanted to really control the world, right? And you're America, wouldn't you try to defeat or show that you could defeat without injuring or hurting your own military? So I think that's why these military people are seeing these things, is that our entity, whoever's doing this, is proving that to the system they're in, to whomever's asking, oh, yeah, we can do this. Oh, yeah, look at this. A fighter jet? We're over top of it right now. You know what I mean? So if you were going to dominate the world, you'd have to figure out a way to control the other parts of the world that are in the normal zones, right? You have to go one up on them, right? So maybe that's all that this really is from our point of view of doing it from the man-made stuff.
You know how you guys are talking about how they're trying to keep it secret and not talk about it and okay, so that's how we are today, in our culture. Back when they were building the pyramids, they weren't secretive about it. I mean, we didn't have pictures or discs, so they engraved it in the carvings and with the pyramids or some of the I always watch the History Channel, and some of the stuff that they dug in the ground, it looks like a shape of a key. And,
right.
5,000 miles, there's another one, and so a lot of this
it's
stuff,
amazing.
Yeah, well, they were getting helped, or
somehow.
Yeah, well, you would think. And so, but they weren't shy about it then because we don't have paperwork to show it or pictures.
There was none. There was no paperwork.
Right. So they demonstrated it like that, where today we don't want to tell nobody or talk about it. And
it's weird.
They seized your pictures.
Yeah, because here's one other thing I was thinking about, and I think about this a lot. So you and David can get on YouTube, whatever, and Google scientists, and we're going to see Tesla and Einstein all day long. Like, we've learned about these people for almost 100 years now, right? And their minds were just incredible. The thing is who are the other scientists? Those weren't the only two that brought us to this point. What's happened? Like you're saying, I think they hide it. Like, where are these? I mean, we know who Neil deGrasse is and people like that, but I'm saying like the Einstein people, and we got them. What if I guess what I'm trying to say is we've not been told, theory of relativity, all this of Einstein, that's stuff from like the 40s, man, and 50s, right?
Yeah,
so where is the new stuff? You don't see it.
Right.
It's like they don't.
Those kept hush hush and they got rid of them or did something.
It's like we're just robots, man, and we're just programmed to do this, to do that. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. We've lost everybody listening by now.
Oh, we did. 30 seconds into the show.
It's like 0 listeners are now listening.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But it's interesting though. I mean, I think it's just fascinating subject more than it is anything else.
If I ever if there was ever the opportunity to go back in time, going back to Renee's point, I would like to see, just to peer over the shoulders of, how'd you plan on building these things? I mean, because the pyramids are perfectly east-west, perfectly north-south, and there's dimension.
It's all theory. They still don't know how any of that was made.
Right.
Nikola Tesla.
It would be nice to peer over, be like,
no,
just the thought process is what I'm getting at.
Tesla had a theory. They used vibration from sound, and you can actually, someone in the 60s actually, I think they still do it, but you could everything in the world has a sound element to it. Frequency. There you go. Yeah, that's the word, frequency. So if you can figure out the frequency, you can lift this up. This might have a different frequency than this, or the stapler might be a different frequency than the cup.
The Office Space.
Is that a red sling line?
Yes, it is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Burn the place down.
Yeah. You think this was going at the corporate office?
Right. I don't want to know where that's been. I don't want to know where that stapler's been, Producer Tony. Did you get that at Roadway? Is that where that came from?
I got this. I think I meant
The auction block.
My daughter may have bought this for me because I used to watch that Office Space movie all the time. I love that movie. It's the best part of that movie is when the building's on fire, right? And that one guy who never really had a job,
Milton.
When the one guy comes out and he looks and he sees Milton, and then he gets it. He's like, Milton, burn the place down, right? I was like, that's like the best part.
Milton said he was going to burn the place down.
He's drinking his Mai Tai at the end.
Nobody listened to him.
That is one of the best characters in history, man.
Steven Root, who plays Milton, is just a brilliant actor.
Oh,
I'm not a big movie or TV guy, but Steven Root is
Get the TPS report.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. TPS reports.
Yeah. But do you got anything else, man, you want to say or mention on the podcast?
I didn't come prepared. I was waiting for all the questions, but
should we ask more questions? I mean, are there questions we haven't asked that you would? I don't want to.
Is there anything?
I mean, I don't want you to leave and be like, because I know we've been on tangents.
We kind of bounced around.
You know, I don't want you to feel like we've ignored you because that wasn't our intent.
Well, I commented on 110 podcast 110. You know, Timmy D was talking about toolboxes and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, with union and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked for unions up in Alaska. They provide the major hard tools, the expensive stuff.
The expensive one.
But you provide your toolbox and your own tools, and I think he threw out a $10,000 figure or something.
His bill, I think, threw that out.
And hell, my toolbox was $12,000 empty.
Oh,
you know,
wow!
And it weighed 1,000 pounds empty, and I got $180,000 worth of tools in it. Now it's 3,800 pounds. You know, and I got 3 toolboxes, but just that one was that.
Because you have to have different specialized tools to work on stuff, right? I mean, it's just like some of these cars today. When we were kids, you could change the oil yourself. Some of them you can't change the oil on. You need a special tool to do it.
I bought from Snap-on, Mac, Cornwell, Matco. I mean, I bought from all the guys. I mean, I helped put their kids through college with the tools I was buying. And once I paid off my tools, I mean, I bought my first pickup truck.
So what was the difference for you in your mind being with those union companies versus what you do now and what you've went on to do?
Well, like the other gentleman was talking about, I'm horrible with names, but the one that was the one you guys called in and his wife worked for Kroger.
Right, Bill.
Okay, Bill. They do stand behind you. Number two,
Bill.
They do stand behind you as far as union representation and stuff. But the sad part is even the lazy guy that doesn't do the work, he still has the job,
right?
You know, and the go-getter guy, you know, and so you guys were talking about and everywhere I've ever worked, one of the supervisors, the highest skill set wins. So, you know, you were talking about your wife and the wages and, you know, even though she's got her degree, you're still because of your knowledge and
or lack of.
So again, the guy with the high skill set wins.
Right.
In Alaska, you don't need a degree to work in Alaska. I mean, if you're a welder, you can turn a wrench, work in the oil field and all that. You're going to get $150,000 job out the gate.
Are jobs in Alaska easier to find or harder to find? If you want to work, can you find job easily in Alaska?
Yeah. Well, in the oil field industry, absolutely. I mean, I did ice roads, all that stuff working up in Alaska. and the thing was my age always matched my hourly wage. When I moved up there, I was 26, making 26 an hour. When I was 30, I was making 30. When I was 40, I was making 40. When I got out of it, I was 46, making 46 an hour. And I'm 53 now, but I got out of it just because I've had 3 back surgeries, 3 knee surgeries. They fused my lower back, both my hands, carpal tunnel. So it was, it's a hard job. I'm at the heavy equipment side of it, turning wrenches, doing what I was doing. But no, it's a good place to make money. You don't need a degree to get that job,
So Rene, I want to go back to, you had mentioned something about like working the ice roads in Alaska. Have you ever been approached by any maybe TV show or media venture to maybe work for them? Has that ever come across for you?
Yeah. Shipping Wars.
Shipping Wars. I was going to say Shipping Wars. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. They interviewed me and they want me to be their top dog and help, if they needed any cranes or this or that. there was going to be a certain wage for that, and there was going to be a wage for being on the show. And then if I wasn't in the actual show, they wanted me to narrate what was going on, and I had agreed to it all. And they made me sign a no compete clause, and this keep quiet type stuff. And, yeah, there you go. And towards the end there, I told them, I was upfront. I said, man, I'm going to be boring. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, nothing happens when I go down the road because I've done my job so long that I'm good at what I do. I'm not going to, nothing's going to come loose. And they're like, well, could you, do a loose strap and or loose chain or go into the ditch? And I'm like, nope, I'm not, discrediting my company or showing that I'm an idiot, and when I did ice roads and all that kind of stuff, can you go in the ditch? No, I'm not doing that. And so at the very end, I pulled out. I wasn't going to do it because and so, yeah, they wanted, because that's what gets viewers, the drama.
Clickbait.
And just like Deadliest Catch. I mean, in order to get they've been on the air for 17 years,
right?
But they got to show that when they're out there, all the stuff that's going on at home, the cheating, the drugs or whatever, just to keep the viewers watching.
Right.
If there's nothing going on, you're not gonna. So yeah, I wasn't gonna go in the ditch or have a mishap on my load, just because there were gonna be a camera crew sitting behind me and following me and all that stuff.
Well, it's like how they made fun of Jared all the time. The Jared kid on Shipping Wars, how they always made fun of him. And it was like, I always thought that probably put a negative.
Well, when they reached out to me and told me who they were, they kept calling me and I was ignoring the call. And I didn't know who it was. I thought it was spam. And then finally I answered the phone. I was kind of rude to him. Yeah. And people who follow me know that I'm not real, polite sometimes. But anyhow, I was like, what the hell do you want? What is this? And he tells me, and I'm like, yeah, sure. No. Have you heard of us? And I'm like, no, I never heard of Shipping Wars. And whenever I pulled up to a job site, people would ask me, about that. And I was like, I've never seen the show. So they asked me, take a look at the show, and then we're going to do a Zoom meeting. So I watched the show, and we did a Zoom meeting, and they're like, what did you think? And I said, really? And they're like, yeah. I go, I think it's stupid, because that's not what I do. I don't underbid anybody. I mean, that's not, so yeah. So I kind of,
Comment of the day.
Yeah. So anyhow, they liked the fact that I was honest, I guess.
I was just wonder because it seems like you'd have to have, we all could put video cameras in our cars today and videotape everything. And it might be pretty boring. And then some days it might be entertaining, right? It's going to be, it seems like they have to videotape a lot and then create stuff.
Yeah,
right. Like,
that's
hey,
create
Rene, we're going to flatten your tire out here in 30-degree wet below zero and act like you're freezing and they're spraying like frost on your nose.
Oh, somebody said, people always send me, what do you call it? Links to watch something. And there was, I guess it was a Shipping Wars where there's a dwarf, a midget guy that was in Alaska, and he got out to check his truck. And when he went back, he realized he locked himself out of the truck. And so he's outside of his truck at 30, 40 below,
oh my God.
And he's trying to, he was locked out. How he didn't have a spare key or a key fob or whatever on his person, but he locked himself out.
They probably stole it.
So Love and
that might have been part of the show.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Love and Trucking It. Remember we had them.
They talked about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good memory, David.
Yeah, we need to have them back.
There was a couple.
They were on the show, didn't they?
There was a couple. They were on the show. Yeah, they were on it. They said there was a lot of stage stuff.
Yeah.
That it was. They like you're saying, the bidding.
They were good people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that that was like silly, and they knew who was going to win the bid, kind of.
Yeah, I get $200, $300, $400, $500, up to $1,000 more than what the load posts on the board that I'm going to go under. You're in the business to make money, not to.
And the one guy that had the flatbed, and I forgot his name, but he actually would never underbid them unless
that's actually Jacinda Lady's uncle.
I was just
getting ready to mention that.
I was just getting ready to mention that.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Related, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He was a good dude.
And she's offered us to kind of maybe meet up with him somehow.
Oh, dude, we should do that. We should do that. He's probably under some kind of contractual. I can't say anything about.
He either lives in Wisconsin or Minnesota. She had mentioned
Does
it
he?
one time.
Yeah.
I think we just kind of
Minnesota
blew it
or
off
something,
a
yeah.
little bit. So
Amazing. It's funny stuff, man. Good stuff.
So Rene, is there anything else you want to discuss or whatever? I feel like we brought you in here, so if there's something, please feel free. I do know Rene has critique on our platform status that we say that we have. So
yeah,
or we're not.
You got any? Go ahead.
Go ahead and you feel free to critique the show. So.
Yeah, you got any?
Well, I listen to you guys. I love the knowledge and the insight and just the banter back and forth, and then how you guys walk on each other and nobody ever gets offended, and you guys just resume and
we're tired. We were used to it.
I listen to you guys on iHeart because
right.
It
There's a lot of people listen on iHeart.
Well, because it's neat and organized. I can see everything, and it shows how much I've seen and read.
Yep.
The only thing is I can't make comments on it. I have to log into YouTube to make a comment, and then when I do that, it's hard to find you.
Is
on
that
YouTube.
normal on iHeartRadio not to make people not?
I don't know. I don't know. You guys are the only one. I mean, I listen to other stuff, but I never bother to comment on anybody. Like a crime junkie, I listen to a lot of that FBI stuff.
Right.
Going down the road just to keep awake. But no, you guys are the ones that I comment on.
That's funny you said that.
So Rene, what are you saying with your YouTube comment? To specify what you're getting at with your YouTube.
Well, when I go in there to make the comments, to correct something, or I have a hard time finding the episode because it doesn't list it all like it does
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that like it does on iHeart. And so, it's hard to find you. And then on Apple Play, you only have 2 episodes. On Apple Play.
I stopped messing with Apple because I probably have to reinvestigate into that because it was just weird. It was blocking the shows, and I don't know what the heck was happening. And then,
so next time we do a show, we need to have a disclaimer saying, but not on Apple.
Yeah.
So I have an Apple phone, so I know how to navigate there. So also I use audiobooks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody's on audiobooks, and they list it, and when you click into it, it's a bigger screen, so when you're going down the road, you can rewind, play, and pause, or bookmark something easily to go back, where some of those other ones are all the features so tiny. For a truck driver, that's difficult going down the road because now they have cameras in other states that watch you, and if you touch your phone, they have that footage, and they're pulling over trucks left and right and ticketing them.
That's ridiculous.
Because you're not. All my stuff's hands-free, but I still have to. Yeah, I still have to pause or find some. So part of my planning going on the road is I got to find my podcast or my audiobook that I want to listen to so that it's ready to hit play and go down the road. Otherwise, trying to do that going down the road, it's, everything is so tiny, and I got the biggest screen you could get. Plus, I have a tablet, an Apple tablet that's 12 inches, and so to help because I'm, 53. I'm getting old.
I'm with you, man.
And then my navigation is a Rad McNally, and it's 10 inches. So and I was showing him all that because he got in the truck to look at all that, but everything's mounted, and because of these horrific smooth roads that we have, you got to mount everything because otherwise suction cups and the temperature change, it falls off the windshield, and DOT don't like to see anything on the windshield. And so my truck, looking inside when I post pictures, I get comments all the time. Looks like an airplane because all the gauges.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fair.
But it's all my lights inside are red LED just to be able to see going down.
Oh yeah, right.
And,
the old military red light.
Yeah, red light district.
Yeah.
And but so no, I love this shit. I mean, I've been doing it a long time, and guys that have been in the industry 2 or 3 years, and they're selling the stuff, the information $100 an hour, and I'll dog those guys and say something, and I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but I am. I mean, it's like, dude, you have not been out here long enough to be selling, and I do it for free. I help and mentor, and people call me, and I answer my phone every time. I'm probably like the only person that mentions my phone number in my videos, and everybody else is top secret. Emails, phone, it's all there. I mean, I can be found, I can be reached. If I'm ever kidnapped, I'd be easy to find because I breadcrumb everywhere I'm at, But that's the thing about being a fat guy. Those are the hard ones to kidnap. You know?
Yeah.
So anyhow, how not gonna work?
That's good
It's
stuff,
a UFO.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's Rene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they make me slim.
That's
There we
good
go.
stuff, man. David, you got randoms?
I do.
Hit us,
Two.
baby.
I have two of them. Are we ready? Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Okay. So next Saturday, we're gonna broadcast from the Great Divide. They are willing to have us back, which is very nice of them. We're gonna broadcast from there. Jeremy and Bill, if you're both listening, you're both more than welcome. I'm gonna reach out to you guys if I can on Facebook and make sure that you know if you guys can make it. We'd love to have you. Francois should be there. There's a handful of other people I'm trying to get there. So thanks first off to the Great Divide for allowing us to have us in our 2023 Ship's Gonna Happen walk-off is Friday, September the 15th at the Great Divide. I don't remember what the time frame is, but I'm gonna guess 2 to 4 ish or something. So and I don't believe we have a charity picked out for this year quite yet, unless somebody else has already made that decision. But thanks again to the Great Divide for having us back for our 2023 walk-off. Hopefully Tim shows up and regains his championship, or somebody else this year takes it. So that's always a good time, and we have a really good turnout for that stuff. Last year we raised about $1,400 for a local charity. So
That's good stuff, man.
at $5 a donation, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So so those are the only random thought things that I had.
Join us for
but we appreciate Rene. Next time you're through Indy, would you come back on
Come
the
on
show
back
with
in.
us?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was great you
We'd
stopped in,
love
man.
to have you back.
Yeah, it's nice to put a face with the name because that helps me. I
Yeah.
hear you guys, and you guys have excellent voices.
Thank you. We had a great lunch Wednesday. I appreciate Rene coming to lunch with me. We had a really good lunch. And so, again, Rene and I started talking and like we'd known each other forever. So it's just a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
The podcast studio is not that bad, right? It's not bad.
Oh, this is
19th hole.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. You can look out at the 19th hole.
the lawn is
Most birds avoid the yard because they know it's too good to shit on.
Stupid birds.
Yeah.
no
But-
more Amazon walking through your yard.
They do not, and they've been backing up in the driveway. Yeah.
So let's talk about that just a minute. If we're in, you've talked about that, and Rene may be able to test this. If you're in England, you have to back into the
You have to
driveway,
back in.
right?
Yeah,
Have
back
to
in.
back
Get back in.
If
Yeah,
you
you
have
have
if you have a driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have one, because you're right. Because
Touche.
some of them are like really, they don't even have it. Right. It's like barely bigger than a sidewalk.
Yeah, well, and half of them were parked halfway on the sidewalk, which is hard
Right.
for the people in wheelchairs. But it's because when they built that area, it was buggy days, not
Right.
cars. So it's
Yeah.
and I still have a Range Rover over there. I need to ship it back. I lived there for 6 months.
I know. Remember you telling us that?
Yeah, and so I still have a Range Rover over there. I need
Is it left side drive?
right hand steering? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm
Right
sorry.
hand steering, left handed
Yeah.
road. Yeah.
Wow.
Which was after driving here in
That'd
America.
be weird to drive that here.
Oh,
like that.
if I was by myself in the evening and there was no cars, I found myself, in the on the right side of the road, like we're supposed to be, and then the girlfriend would be like, "Hey, you're on the wrong side." Oh, because there was nobody there to remind me to, and so that was really often that I would do that because I'm used to driving. On the
Yeah,
right
that's
side of the road.
that'd be wild, man.
Renee, next time you're in Indianapolis, give me a day ahead or so, or that when I know you're going to be here, and I'll Uber down and I'll do beers. So this time I wasn't able to do beers, but we'll do beers next time.
Yeah, I drank.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Rene, man, you want to call us out, man? Ship's Gonna Happen out.
Ship's Gonna Happen podcast.